Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Devin. That's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. If you want to catch more of us, you can catch us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We do this full podcast every Saturday. It goes out the following Sunday. And if you want to be a part of it, you can comment down below. If your take makes the cut, it'll be part of our comments section. So let's jump into the video.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
Banana in the summer. You know what I was thinking about? Is look how sexy I look right now. This is a camera that is above me.
Why are you lying to yourself?
This is how Cameron Brink sees me right now.
All right, that's true.
I got a shot.
I got shot.
I got a shot. I got a shot. That's all I'm saying. I look the best from a top-down view.
The first topic we're going to dive into here is the top 10 wide receiver and quarterback duos.
And as you can see, we have a tier list in the back.
Yep, we've got a tier list in the back. And there is every quarterback available. We might throw some curveballs, but we're going to try and stick to a top 10. So starting out number one. This
Who's
is
your
obviously
number one?
different. Hot take.
Hot take?
Hot take.
QB wide receiver. Okay, let's make it very clear. Tier list QB wide receiver duo.
Duo.
Number
Hot
one.
take.
Who's your
Hot take.
Yeah, okay.
Hot take.
Okay.
Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, no shot.
What? Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp.
As your number one. Because they won one
Mhm.
Super Bowl together?
Bro, I don't know. That connection's crazy. That
No.
connection's wild.
No shot. No shot. No shot. No shot. I doubt there would be many people on this earth that would be like, yeah, that's the best wide receiver duo currently in the league. Because this is current. This is
Okay,
not,
okay, so do you want Puka Nacua instead?
no, I don't think I would put them low top 10 if I was going to put them anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. 100%.
So who? Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, number one?
Yes, that's my number one. That's the obvious number one. Joe Burrow,
That's
Jamar
the
Chase.
Okay, I'll concede, but I don't know. I think that's slept on. I think the Matthew Stafford connection is slept on. So we're going Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase in the S tier.
S
number
tier,
one.
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Are there any other S tiers? Because you went with a weird one. I do not put Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford as an
Maybe not
S-tier
Cooper Kupp,
duo.
but Puka.
No,
Okay, so
no,
Puka,
it's
Puka
even
and Matt
worse
Stafford?
it's worse if you put Puka and Matthew Stafford. It's more
Really?
likely that it's
I
Cooper
don't
Kupp
know,
and Matthew
bro.
Stafford.
I don't know about that, dog.
They're a great duo for sure.
Watch this
They're
season.
not an
Watch
S
this
tier.
season. Watch this season, bro. They're gonna be S tier. I
It's not
guarantee
an
you.
S tier duo. S tier because the standard is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
So what? You want JJ and JJ
If Kirk
in
Cousins,
Minnesota?
if Kirk Cousins was still in the Vikings, I would
No,
put Kirk
JJ
Cousins
and
in
JJ.
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say, and then you can tell me how you feel about it. This is my hot take for an S tier duo.
Okay.
Let me find them. God, they're
If
so
you
flipping
grab,
many.
I'll go A. I won't go S. That's not S because they don't win. But I'll go A.
But a QB wide receiver duo. Do you know their stats? You know how many
But
yards
there's too
that-
many. There's
that
too many
CeeDee
drops
Lamb
from.
had?
There's too many drops from CeeDee Lamb though.
So you want to go A with that?
I'll go A, but I won't go S. I will go A though.
All right,
That's
I'm fine
I
with
can
an
go
A
two.
for that.
I can go
Okay.
2 with that.
All right, let's dive in. Let's dive in a little bit deeper.
Okay,
QBs.
another hot take. CJ, Nico Collins 3.
I would say here's the problem with that is that I would agree if Tank Dell didn't get injured and he played the rest of the season. I would agree for a CJ Tank Dell duo, especially because CJ asked for Tank Dell to be on the Texans. But a CJ Nico Collins, I can't, brother.
Do you think it's kind of a Patrick Mahomes situation where he's just so
Yes.
good with everybody?
Yes, because we've talked about it before. We look at the stats. There's a different guy being the number one constantly throughout that, and that's why they were so great this year. Is because he's very great at spreading the ball around. He's not a very like one wide receiver guy, kind of like how Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I mean that is
okay.
it's a
Okay,
one-on-one.
so then 3. Would you put Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford? Wide receiver quarterback duo, top three, bro. Who else?
I would probably put like honestly, probably like a Brock Purdy, Debo Samuel.
Nah, but that's not. But that's another Avengers scenario. That's anybody. I don't think that's top three in the league. No way. That's not top three.
I think you're just saying
And
that
and
because
jo-
there's so many other people on that team.
right, but that's not their. That's
How
not his
about
main connection.
okay? How about
If you want to go
AJ
Ayuk,
Brown? How about AJ Brown?
ooh,
AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Where does he go? Because that is that connection.
to me, that's under Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup. To me, Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford is three, and then Jalen and AJ Brown is four,
Okay, and then where does a Tua Tyreek go?
five.
Bro, so you okay? We'll just put it there because you are hard stuck. Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup are A tier, is what you're saying?
I would say so. I would say they're A tier, and then I would say, ooh, bro, I don't.
Lamar Jackson doesn't really
Wait,
have a guy.
Jalen is four. Are we putting that in A tier too? I think that's A tier.
Uh, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm down for that. So
A
so
tier.
those are A
So
tier.
and then the first slot in B tier is Tua Tyreek because Tyreek
Yeah,
carries that. Tyreek carries that.
yeah, I agree with that for the most part. So B, Tua and
B
Tyreek.
first slot for now. First slot in B.
Yeah. What sucks is that we can't even use the best receiver in the league because Kirk Cousins isn't even on the
I
team anymore.
know. I know. Here,
What about a Jared Goof? Jared Goof and Amon Ra.
Amon Ross St. Brown.
Where would you put
I
Jared
could
Goof
put
and
that
Amon
in
Ra?
B. I could put that in B, but I
I'd put
feel
that
like
in
there's
B.
still someone higher. I feel like we're missing someone.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of wide receiver movement, so we don't have Josh Allen
I
anymore.
want to put, yeah, I was gonna say Josh Allen. I want to put like, I know Aaron Rodgers didn't play, but I want to put that just on feeling. Like
Nah, we can't right
the
now. There's
Garrett
so many
Wilson.
more.
I know, but like I want to put that. Um,
Oh, how about a Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans?
no, not top 10.
Bro, he's top.
I would put Brock Purdy. I put Brock Purdy with any of the 49ers receivers before I put Baker on the list. Way before that, for sure.
All right, then, bro. I mean, start
I
spitting
would
some
put
facts
Caleb.
here.
I'd put Caleb Williams and
We can't start doing this. We have to go with like
I'm just
what we
saying
saw this
before
year.
Baker and Mike Evans connection, they're not like that.
Mike Evans had another 1,000 yard season.
But he has a 1,000 yard season with everybody, bro. That's not like I get
Oh,
your
no,
point, but
he
that's
had a
not
1,000 yard season with Tom Brady, and then he had a 1,000 yard season with Baker Mayfield. I mean,
he
that's a
had a
great guy to
thousand
get compared to. That's all I'm saying.
before Tom Brady. Mike Evans had like 8 straight 1,000 yard years,
Yeah,
bro.
that shows how great Mike Evans is, brother.
But that doesn't mean that he has a connection with every quarterback. He's a quarterback whore.
Are we missing people here? I feel like this should be way easier than it is right now.
I
Oh,
know,
Jordan Love,
but
and
who's his guy? But who's his main guy?
Jalen Reed.
Okay, okay, but where? But that is that B,
That's C.
C. So there's only one guy in B. Where is Mahomes and well, what receiver?
Mahomes and Rashi Rice. Where
Rashi
would that be?
Rice.
But that's not a
Are they
good
good enough?
connection.
But
That's
are
not a
they
good
good enough?
connection.
But they were in the Super Bowl. Is that good? Is Patrick Mahomes good enough to bring that up to B?
No, he's a C D
Okay, so
tier.
Brock and whoever you want is got to be in B tier
All right,
for
Brock's in
sure.
B. Where's Brock at? Let me
He's
find
next
him.
to Russell Wilson on the far, yeah, over
There
there
he is.
underneath Patrick.
All right. So we have Tua, Jared Goof, and then Brock Purdy in B.
And B, okay.
Yeah, if you can see it. That's who we have in B right now.
Okay. So then start of C.
Yeah, start of C. Who do we have here? Because okay, so we have Derek Carr. He has nobody. We have
Yeah,
Josh
no, that's not
Allen.
true.
Who's
Derek
his
Carr
connection?
has Chris Olave. They're not like super connected, but
That's a
he's
good
good.
C. I would say I'd put Derek Carr and
I
Chris
could put that
Olave
in
in a
C.
C.
I could put that in C because they
We'll put
have
that in C for
moments, but
now.
it's not consistent. Unfortunately, Justin Herbert doesn't have anyone.
Yeah, I really wanted the yeah, I agree. Trevor Lawrence.
Well,
Oh,
Christian Kirk with Christian
bro.
Kirk.
Bro, Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins. That is a good connection.
Oh, for
first
C,
game,
yeah.
yeah,
For C,
first
yeah.
game Will Levis started. It was 3 TDs to DeAndre Hopkins.
I can go with C there.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good connection for sure.
Okay, then Lamar's got to be in there, and he's top of C tier then. Lamar and Zay
Who's Lamar
Flowers.
have a
Zay
connection with?
Flowers
Zay Flowers?
for C, yeah. If we're talking
Okay,
about
we can put him in C. Yeah.
at C, yeah. And then I think Trevor Lawrence is there too. Let me see C. Scroll up. I want to see C where we're at. I would put Lamar at the top of C, and I would put Trevor Lawrence at second, and then Derek Carr and Will Levis.
Trevor
Because
Lawrence
Trevor,
right behind him, Lamar.
yeah, yeah. Because the Kirk connection is pretty good. The Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence is a pretty good connection. They had because think about it, they went really downhill when Christian Kirk went out this year. When he went out, they really plummeted. So there's a strong connection there, but
Yeah.
it's still not. It's not like it's not anything like B though. It's not spectacular. Um,
All right.
how
Let's
many do
go
we have on the board? Let's see how many do we have on the board?
one. So can you see that?
6, 7. We have 11 right now on the board.
Yeah, let's keep going though. Let's
Okay,
keep going.
we got 11 on the board.
Because here's the thing is that there's so much QB and wide receiver movement this year that it's very hard
Where
to
does
like say.
Patrick go here? Because I feel like
The
that's
problem
C
is
tier.
Patrick is so good, he doesn't have connections with anybody. Like the only person he has a connection with is
Where is
Travis Kelce.
CJ here? Because CJ now, this is CJ should be.
CJ should be on there for sure. CJ should be on here. I feel like CJ is a D because he's very much Patrick Mahomesy.
So then
But
Patrick should be the top of D then.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that. But the problem is that CJ has more of a connection with his wide receivers than Patrick Mahomes this season. Patrick Mahomes had no connection with his wide receivers this season.
That's fair. So top of D is CJ.
I believe so because it's all about the connection between the two. So where's he? There he is.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Sam Howell into this, but he's on the Seahawks now.
Yeah, they all flip and move, brother.
Bryce Young and Adam Thielen.
That's our F tier, or no? That should be D
No,
tier.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I feel like that's higher.
yeah, that was a great connection. You're
This
right.
year, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was a great connection. Actually, you're
Bryce
flipping
Young,
right.
Adam Thielen, put him up there. Let's see where he falls. Where should he be
Where should he
falling?
go in here?
I low-key feel
Because
like he
that
should be
was
in
like
B. It was
honestly
like
the
8 weeks. It
because
was like 8 weeks
it was just him and Adam Thielen, and
for
it's
like
just
8 weeks.
connection.
Yeah,
So we're
and they
putting him in
lost,
B.
but I kind of want to put him in B.
The problem is Brock Purdy kind of ruins this B tier because
Yeah,
he's the
you can
elite
stick anyone
quarterback.
with him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the elite quarterback in here, and these guys really are just like they had their one dude, and then Brock Purdy is the all arounder. So maybe we put Brock Purdy at the end of B.
yeah, I can agree with that.
Honestly, Brock Purdy should be in C because Lamar's an all arounder.
Yeah, I would because I kind of want to put Trevor Lawrence in B at the end of B with that because the connection was that good to where like
Like
literally
that.
remember how far they fell off when Christian Kirk got hurt this year?
Yeah, yeah. Like this. So it's Lamar, Brock, Derek,
Derek
and then Will
Carr.
Levis, and
Yeah,
then those ones because it's the connection. There's more of a connection between these two than those two.
yeah.
And then we
Okay,
have
okay, hear me out.
all
This
right.
is
We
hear
can
me
we can
out.
start we can start like going far into the future now that we've gotten our main guys in.
Hear me out. Where does Aiden O'Connell and
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams go? Because
The
there were
problem is
moments.
the problem is there were moments, but they were still shambles.
Okay, wait, pause. Geno Smith and DK Metcalf.
Gino's not on the Seahawks anymore.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he still is?
Yes.
All right, yeah. Where does that go?
C,
Yeah,
somewhere in C.
I like C tier
That
for
feels
sure.
right.
Yeah, we'll put him at the end of C because I mean the Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins flipping what they had was crazy. That connection
Yeah.
compared to DK and Gino for sure. Honestly, Will
Okay, so
Levis,
scroll up. What do we have here? All the way. Okay. So Burrow Chase 1, Dak CD Lamb 2, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup 3, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown 4, Tua, Tyreek 5, Jared Goof and Amon Ra at 6, Bryce Young, Adam Thielen 7, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk 8, Lamar, Zay Flowers 9, and then Brock Purdy, and then take your pick at 10, and then we have honorable mentions. We have 4 honorable mentions. Let's pick one
Honestly,
more honorable mention. Let's get
honestly,
one more
based
honorable mention.
based off of just connection alone, I feel like Will Levis should be higher.
I don't think so because there was one game of good, like crazy chemistry,
There's
and then
like two or three, but he
but
started
there was
halfway through the
sparks,
season.
but it was sparks, but it wasn't like whole games. Like you weren't like, oh, this ball's going to D Hop, it's gonna get
Three
completed.
TDs in a game, brother.
But
I
that's
mean, like,
one game.
yeah, but no, there was multiple. There's like 3 games where it was like D Hop went crazy because Will Levis was
I don't
just
know.
giving him that ball, that deep
I
ball,
don't
brother.
know.
I feel like Will Levis has more of a connection with D Hop than Lamar does with Zay, and then
I
Brock does.
disagree with that for sure.
All right, we'll keep him. We'll keep him. But that's what the connection was there for sure. Like, because I had him on my fantasy team, and it was like DeAndre Hopkins. What the hell are you doing? You're doing nothing for my team. All of a sudden, Will Levis gets the starting position. All of a sudden, this guy is a
But you were mad like half the you were mad even when Will Levis was starting though
no, but
because
he turned into a boomer bust to where he could go and get me 30 points, or he doesn't do anything the next week. Like
but
he
connection
turned
is
in
about consistency.
he
But
turned
connection
it.
is about consistency.
Yeah, but like from what he was at the beginning of the season to where he was basically was doing nothing to going into a boom or bust, like that connection alone was crazy. That
Where does Zach Wilson and the opposing defense go?
all right, we got a jokester around here. We got a jokester. Is there anybody else on this list that we want to throw up there?
We could put Baker up here now at this point. I think we could put Baker up here at this point.
So who's our first F tier? Are we putting Baker in F tier?
No, I think that's D.
D with CJ.
Yeah, I'd say that's D with
Okay,
C.
who's our F tier connection? Who's the worst connection in football? It's got to be, I mean, Kenny Pickett left the 49ers, but I mean the Steelers, but
Scroll up a little bit. Um, I
who's our
want to
F tier
say Jimmy
connection?
Garoppolo and the entire Niners team.
He's not there anymore. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is an F tier.
No, but those receivers were so bad. You can't put that on DJ.
Nah, I feel like that's fine, but it's the
No, you
connection,
can't put that
brother.
on
It's the
DJ.
connection, brother.
No, you can't put that on
All
DJ.
right, we'll throw him
They're
back
not good
down.
enough. Like they're not good enough to where I could put that on him. I want to put I low key want to put Josh Allen and like
But he
Gabe
doesn't
Davis.
have. But he doesn't have his number one wide receiver left. So that if we were basing it off
Worst
of the
connection.
connection with Josh Allen and
I would
Stephon
say Zach
Diggs,
Wilson, bro. Low key.
Zach,
Worst
yeah,
connection in the
was
league.
connection. Yeah, Zach Wilson. I'm fine with that.
I'm looking
Deshaun
at it.
Watson was hurt.
Like even Drew Lock had a better connection when he played for Seattle
What
the
about
one game.
Desmond Ritter? Desmond Ritter's got to be F
Ooh,
tier.
that was pretty bad. He was
Yeah,
pretty
Desmond
bad.
Ritter's got to be F tier for sure.
He's at the back of the F tier for sure.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to see anybody who's still on the
Aaron
team.
Rodgers?
Kyler Murray was hurt, but where do we want to put Kyler?
I don't know. I genuinely have no
Because
idea.
he played the last half of the season.
Where is
No, we got
the
to put Patrick
Pastronaut?
Mahomes
Where's the
somewhere.
Pastronaut?
Um, I think they left him out of here.
Okay, is Tommy DeVito up there?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito's right here.
Hmm. Bro, I want to put Joe Flacco and David Njoku up there, but he's not on the he's not Cleveland anymore.
Yeah, he got switched. Where were we putting Patrick? We have to put him somewhere.
Top of D, I don't know. Who's in D again?
Uh, CJ Stroud and then Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, put him top of D.
Top of D right there. That's good.
Okay, so I think we have 10. Or
All
I
right.
think we have 10 and 5 honorable mentions.
Yeah, so we're good here for sure.
Okay, so now do we need to do any moving? Move over a little bit. Do we need to do any moving with these?
This way. So now let's take a look at it. So Joe Burrow,
Clear
Jamal,
runaway one.
yeah, clear one runaway. Honestly, I would put Dak and CD at S, but A's fine.
I
Uh,
just think there's too many drops. There's too many big drops that CD had this year because unfortunately I watched the Cowboys a ton this year and there was too many big moment drops that CD like no one was within 5 yards and you shouldn't be dropping balls like that if you've got that good of a connection.
yeah, I don't think that's the connection as much as it's CD's fault. Like the
But that plays
connection, but
into it though.
it like the connection is just like how much do you throw to your boy, And I feel like Dak throws to his boy a lot. Same
It's so
reason why,
unfortunate that we don't have JJ on here.
yeah, and that's the same reason why I was arguing against Matthew Stafford because again this year at least I know Cooper Cup was hurt, but he did spread the ball around to Puka and Cooper Cup pretty damn well
I don't know, bro. I think we're gonna see some crazy shit from them.
this year. Yeah, 100%. I really don't want to move anybody else. I think everybody's fine. The only problem I have is
Okay,
C tier
yeah.
because we have two guys that really didn't have a number one. Brock Purdy and Lamar. I feel like they really didn't have a true number one like everybody else.
Yeah, that's the hard thing because we're not including tight ends. We're talking about receivers.
Yeah, I mean, if we included tight ends, Patrick Mahomes would be in S tier for
Yeah.
sure. For sure, he'd be in S tier. But yeah, for now, I think
I'm okay
this
with
is
it.
fine.
I'm
I think
okay
this
with
is
it.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
So Joe and Jamar is one, CD and Dak is two, and then we've got Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup at three, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown at four, Tua Tyreek at five, Goof and Amon-Ra St. Brown at six, seven, surprise, Bryce Young and Adam Thielen. And then we've got Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk at eight, right? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, at eight. Lamar and Zay Flowers at nine. Brock Purdy and take your pick at 10. And then our honorable mentions are Derek Carr, Will Levis, Geno Smith.
And that's it.
Um,
We don't have to count the rest for honorable.
okay. And then those are the last of the
The
honorable
DNF
mentions.
is really just like us hating,
They're
like
too good. They're too good to be left off the list, but they don't really have a
yes,
one.
yes, 100. I mean, okay,
Okay,
except for F tier,
Baker.
except for yes, that's what I'm saying about Baker is that it's like they're too
Yeah,
good to be left off the list. He should be higher. He should be in
I
C.
think yeah, maybe you could put him actually you could probably put him at the front of C
Yes,
and bump
that's
Brock
what I'm
out.
saying because if we're talking about just flipping connection, right? He had a connection with Mike Evans, right? The
Yeah.
rest of them didn't really have that big of a connection.
Do you want to put CJ and just do CJ Tank Dell and put him at the top of like B?
I can put him at the end of B because we didn't see how Tank was at the end.
Okay.
I'm fine
Okay,
with
so
this.
Lamar's out. Okay, so Lamar's out. So the bottom of the list now is Baker.
Yes, I'm fine with that. It's strictly on QB connection, not how QB played
QB
or
wide
throw.
receiver connection. Okay.
QB wide receiver connection, how much they utilized a specific dude. Brock Purdy obviously can't be in the top 10 because he utilized everyone, but this is based on how much they utilized one bro.
I can agree with it. I
And
like
that's
it.
why I feel like Will Levis is right behind Baker. That's just me. But
I
that's
don't
just
I
me.
don't think there wasn't enough games for me.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, Will Levis is a one man army sometimes.
Yeah,
He
there
doesn't
wasn't
even
enough
need wide
there
receivers. He
wasn't
he
enough
throws
games
to
for me.
himself.
Right.
All right, this is the list. This is what it is. Let us know down in the comments. Dumb.
Outro. From the tier list, we talked about Trevor Lawrence. Now we're going to talk about him a little more. We all know that he got a huge contract recently. So what we have up on the screen here is Trevor Lawrence's first 50 career starts versus Blake Bortles' first 50 career starts. And the numbers don't support Trevor Lawrence getting this massive contract, and it makes you wonder why Blake Bortles isn't in the league anymore. Is he doing construction still? Is that what he's doing now?
Construction? What are you talking about?
Yeah, bro was like, they asked him, like, what would you be doing if you were in the NFL? And he's like, construction.
What would you do if you weren't playing football?
If I wasn't playing football, working construction, ripping cigs.
And he's
No,
like,
I think he's doing fine. I remember he had an
I'm sure he's
interview.
doing fine, but like, he seems like the kind of guy that just be like, yeah, I'll do construction, whatever. I'll run my
Yeah,
dad's construction business.
I mean, if he wanted to do it, he can do it. But I'm sure he made plenty of money.
Yeah, I'm sure. So
He's like a Kirk Cousins. He made a shit ton of money.
sure. Okay. So then, okay, let's look at the stats themselves. Let's compare them. So going down the line here, Trevor Lawrence in the first 50 career starts, 11,770 passing yards. Blake Bortles, 11,845. Passes to touchdown passes to interceptions. Trevor Lawrence, 58 to 39. Blake Bortles, 74 to 53. The touchdown passes to interception rate, what that math comes out to is 1.5 to 1.4. And then yards per attempt, 6.7 to 6.5. So, what this really says to me is that we didn't, advanced stats were not as big, obviously, when Blake Bortles was playing.
Yeah.
Because by this logic, with how much I last year too, hyped up Trevor Lawrence and how he was the number one overall pick and everything, by this logic, Blake Bortles should be in the league still. And it makes you wonder when you really look at some of those guys in the in-between years where they got kind of tossed out because of bad coaching situations, because they were in a tough division. How many of those guys should still be in the league that are better than some of these guys that are starting this year?
Yeah,
To
I
me,
agree
looking at
100%.
this,
I thought you were
to
going to try and say that Blake Bortles is better than Trevor Lawrence, and that I would disagree with you because the stats are very similar, so it's not like we can say Blake Bortles is better, but I do agree with you in the point that it is like, why is Blake Bortles not in the league, especially if you're looking at these stats to where
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence just got paid a massive
Well, and yeah,
contract.
and the contract for me, that's the
Yeah,
thing, because
yeah,
Blake
100%.
Bortles is out of the league. Trevor Lawrence just got a 5-year extension that's insanity.
Yeah. He got paid. He got
What is he,
paid
third? Is he
like
third now in the NFL?
you want me to look it up? I can look it
I'll
up.
look it up, but
You can look it
let's
up.
see. Yeah. I want to say he's third now.
Yeah, it's definitely a little weird, but it's also he could be pulling an Andrew Luck for all we know. Maybe he just doesn't have his heart in it anymore. He doesn't want to be in the league anymore. But it is very
I
weird to
don't think
where
it's that. I think it's Trevor being a little bit overhyped.
yeah, what I was trying to say is,
He's tied for one. Trevor Lawrence is tied for one at 55 with Joe.
and that's insane. That's insane
And then
because
and then 3 is Jared Goff, dude. And then 4 is Justin Herbert. Holy Moses.
wow.
And then the two-time MVP Lamar Jackson is 5.
Hey boys, get your money. Get your money up. Not your funny up. I support you all getting your money for sure. But I think with the Lamar thing, it was because he did his contract a little bit earlier than everybody else. I bet you if he got a contract this year, it'd be insane for sure.
Well, the other thing for me is like the Joe money to me is number one, really surprising because it's Cincinnati. Two,
The
it
Joe
really
money
makes
makes sense to me because like he's been to the Super Bowl. They
sure. No, I'm surprised because it's Cincinnati because they're
yeah,
so cheap. That's why I'm surprised with that one. Um, the Trevor Lawrence one is surprising to me, obviously, as
that's
we're talking about
insane.
it.
That's
Jared
insane. He
Goff
hasn't
is,
proved himself at all.
I think the only reason you can afford that with Jared Goff is how young the rest of the team is. I
And I
think
don't
that's
know why
really
you
it.
would pay Jared Goff that kind of money.
I don't think he's worth the 53. I just think they're young. He's young enough, or the team is young enough around him to where you can give him that kind of money.
I I want to say the reason why Jared Goff, by the way, Jared Goff, get your bread, not hating on how
All
much
these
money you
guys,
make for
get your
sure.
bag. Top three,
Get your bag. Hey,
top four paid quarterbacks in the league, white men.
okay. Okay. I'm not trying. I was not clapping for that. I was not clapping for that. Jesus.
I'm gonna cut that together.
Jeez, I was not clapping for that. What I was saying is that I think the reason why Jared Goff got paid such a big contract that he did is just the culture that is in Detroit. That's the type of culture that they are. They're trying to show all of these star players, all of these guys that come into the league, hey, if you come with us, we're going to take care of you no matter what. Because if you
Yeah,
look
if
at
you come with us,
if you come at the same time that we do, and we both come, and then after that we go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, we're gonna take care of you.
I mean, yeah,
I
that's what
think
this
that's
comes down to.
it comes down to coming at the same time.
It makes it makes Deshaun Watson's deal look a lot better.
No, I still don't agree with that. I think that was crazy. Didn't
But
he take?
he's
He
eight
didn't
now.
play. He didn't play for like a year, right? Because of his whole
Yeah,
ordeal,
but they
and then
didn't
he
pay
got
him.
signed
They
to
didn't,
that.
but they didn't really pay him during that year. They paid him like 500,000. I mean, it's still crazy in
Yeah,
real
but then
world
he got
money,
signed to that
but
after that. Like,
no, he
I
got
don't know.
signed to the big deal. He got signed to the big deal, but they structured it to where that first year where he was going to be suspended, he
Yeah,
was only going to make like 500,000.
but didn't he not play the year before?
But that's when he was still on the Texans.
Yeah, on the Texans, did he not play for that year?
Yeah, but they didn't give him the deal. The Browns did.
But that's like the point I'm making is that he didn't play for an entire year, and then they gave
Oh,
him this ginormous deal
well, but
after
it's
an
the
entire
Browns.
year of not playing.
But it's the Browns. I don't know. I'm just saying the 46 million looks a whole lot better now with those guys in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process is.
Kyler Murray's ahead of him.
Do you know what
I
the
didn't. I
thought
didn't.
process is?
What with Deshaun?
Not with Deshaun and Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff. Like I
Jared
would say
Goff,
that
I think it's just this is the farthest we've gotten. We're gonna pay him and keep him. I think with Trevor Lawrence, it's just they've got the money and they don't want him to go because they're not gonna get another guy. And then with Deshaun Watson, it was just they thought they were getting something that they weren't.
for me,
I think it's as simple
it's
as that.
maybe my Brock Purdy take was wrong because I thought that like when you look at these quarterbacks, the guys who have a great system like Jared Goff, I would feel like they would just try and get a young quarterback to rise with this young team. But it seems to not go that way. And I mean, we're
Well,
looking at
if you've
Deshaun
got a
Watson
piece
too.
that, but that's the thing, if you've got a piece that works in the case of Jared Goff, where he may not be like an elite quarterback, but you've got a piece that just works,
Yeah.
um, then you just pay him. Like you just pay him to stay. If it works, it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality. And I think like,
Great saying. Did you come up with that yourself?
no. Yeah, like after that, we've got Kirk at tied with Patrick Mahomes at 9, which is crazy.
Hey,
And then
they got a steal for Patrick Mahomes. That's all I'm
and
gonna say.
then 11 is Josh Allen.
When does his contract run up?
I don't I don't know off the top of my head. A couple more years. But with Patrick though, he made this deal. They did this on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I don't know if it's smart. It's really only smart if you're like, hey, we can win a bunch of Super Bowls, but it's not
I
smart unless you believe that you can win a bunch of Super Bowls.
While I agree with you, I also think there's a part of that you have to be reasonable in the fact that Patrick Mahomes is, when you really look at it, 45 million is more than enough. There is Patrick Mahomes, yeah, there 45 million is more than enough for Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes. And
take
when
care
you
of your
really look at
family,
it
your kids type of money.
and you want to win, then yeah, I think that makes complete sense.
Yeah,
Everyone
plus the
else, it's
sponsorships.
yeah, everything else is off the charts wild. I hope you choke on a fucking rock. Um, so since we're talking about guys that might be a little bit overhyped, that's a perfect segue into Bronny James. Now, I'm on record with the fact that I am the biggest hater of Bronny being in the draft. And while that would stand true in any other draft but 2024, it's 2024. And this is quite possibly the worst draft in since 2013. It's been over a decade probably since we've had a draft this bad. And it's not like this draft
Big hater, they
is
say. They say
but
big hater.
but it's not like this draft because in the past even there's been guys where it's like, oh, there's hope, like, oh, this guy could be pretty good or this guy could be a good role player. This draft is just like, this is really the best we got in the entire world. This is the best we've got for
Let the
a
boys
professional
play is
sports
what
team.
they say.
They won't. Um, I'm not hating. They won't play. These guys won't see the floor.
Why do you say that? They can see the floor. How do you know? They develop in the NBA.
Maybe a couple bad teams because the NBA is bad at developing. That's why.
I thought the whole conversation with Bronny is that college was bad at developing players. So that's why it's a smart move for Bronny to go to the NBA early.
Because he'll be with his dad, not because he'll be in the NBA. Because he'll be
Oh,
with his dad.
Okay, so it's if you go to a team with LeBron James, very smart. If you go to a team without LeBron James, you're a dumbass.
No, in this year specifically, there's certain organizations that develop players really well. There's certain, in this case, it's father and son. He'll develop him very well. But majority of the league does not develop young guys well. That's why there's such turnover in the NBA every single year. That's why draft picks don't really, that's why the draft is really one round. The second round is just we'll throw a dart at the dartboard because there's so many players and there's
And
so
that's why
many
people don't
leagues.
really watch the NBA draft. Like I didn't really know that the
After
NBA
the
draft
first,
was going on.
after the top 10, no one really watches the draft because those guys won't be in the league most of the time. You get your guys like Giannis that are a little bit later and Jokic that are a little bit later, but majority of the time, these guys are in and out of the league in, maybe not even the rookie contract.
Oof.
The point is here, I really was thinking about it today, specifically as we were preparing to do this segment. Was really thinking about seeing Bronny on the court with his dad
Mhm.
and hearing LeBron talk about this years ago of like, this is the number one guy I want to play with. And a couple of things ran through my mind. It must have been always sort of a thought when LeBron had Bronny so young of like, maybe we could play in the league together. But then it probably was just like a thought for a while, and then he probably hit year like 16 and was like, no wait, this could actually happen.
Mhm.
Like, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm sure it was a thought early on in his career, but it was never like a I'm going to like this is going to happen. I bet it wasn't until year 10 where he was like, no, I'll be around long enough for this to actually be a possibility. And I
Yeah.
think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. We saw Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey play in the same league. This is the first time we've ever seen father and son in the NBA, and I don't know if we'll see it again in the NBA. It's not like the NFL where guys are having kids young.
Anthony Edwards, get to work, baby. Get
A
to
lot of
work,
the
brother.
guys in the NBA are, believe it or not, a lot of them are single, and a lot of them don't have kids. It's not a kids family league at all.
Well,
Um,
I
Go ahead.
mean, it just depends. I mean, how many of these kids that make it to the NBA are from the same seed of people who played in the NBA that but we just
That's
don't know
true.
about?
We just don't know
Because
about it. That's
there's
fair.
there's an entire another podcast that we could deep dive into the weird things that NBA players do because they have so many women at their disposal that they just turn into like freaks and weirdos. From that, that's an entirely different podcast that
But
we
that's
can
the
get and
point, though.
dive
With
into.
this league, is like they're not a family league. I just think looking at this,
Oh,
taking away
because
from
it's an African American league, huh? It's not a family league, huh? Is that what you're trying to say?
what's the NFL, that's not a white league. I promise you that.
It's a family league.
Point is, I think it's really, the more I think about it, it's going to be really interesting to watch these two on the court. I think it's really cool. It's really special. And I think we should all take a moment to really appreciate it this year because this very well could be, depending on the result, the last year of LeBron's career. I don't think it will be, but it could be. It could be. He could say, "Okay, I'm done. I played with my son. I've done everything else. I don't need to play anymore." So I think that's really special.
So
Go ahead.
backpacking off of your point, and I want to make it very clear that this is not a comment that I'm going to make out of hate. I'm not trying to hate. I am just wondering because I'm not an NBA fan.
Mhm.
I am wondering because I am new to this. If Bronny doesn't go to the G League and he goes immediately onto the NBA roster
Which
and
he
he
will.
plays with his dad,
Mhm.
is that special treatment or does he deserve to be there?
That's a good question, and that's a fair question. I think in when we're talking about the Lakers specifically,
Mhm.
he deserves to be there. Because when we get past like Cam Reddish on the Lakers bench, who's already like just the eighth guy, which just so you know, NBA rosters, I believe, are between 12 to 15. Obviously, five guys are on the
Mhm.
court. So they're not that deep,
Yeah,
right? Maybe three lines.
that's what my girlfriend said to me.
Cam Reddish is like eight. And even that on the Lakers is like stretching it. So
Mhm.
Bronny being the 12th guy is not that wild.
Okay.
They're very top heavy. I don't think, and also obviously they got their first round pick will be on the roster, but they don't have anyone else in terms of development or other rookie that he's like really competing with. And they don't have an offseason where they're going to be going out to sign guys. They might get one guy in particular, which we'll talk about in a second. But to answer your question pointedly, I don't think it's special treatment. Will he get more
Okay.
playing time than he probably deserves? Yes, and that's special treatment. But him being on
Okay.
the roster, no.
I'm guessing that people will look at the first guy that they chose over Bronny. I'm guessing people will look at that heavily.
Mhm.
Will that be special treatment if the guy that they took first gets less playing time than Bronny? And do you think that Bronny will
Ooh,
get more playing time than
no,
the guy
no,
that
no,
picked first?
no. Dalton is way better than Bronny,
Way
like
better. Okay.
leagues. And the other thing about it is Dalton is 23.
Mm,
Bronny is 19, I
mhm.
think. So there's a large age gap there. And
Yeah, he's
part of the
got 4
reason
years.
why,
4 years.
right,
4 years.
part of the reason why they ended up taking Dalton where they did, I believe it was at 17, was for that exact reason that he can come in and contribute right now.
Mhm.
He can come in and give you 15 minutes and stretch the floor. What
So
I
what's the
think
plan with
Bronny
Bronny?
garbage time both when they're winning big and when they're losing big. So like if they're up by like 15 in the third quarter or something like that and LeBron's playing because whatever, they'll throw Bronny out there for the sideshow.
Yeah, for the sideshow. Yeah,
Bronny's a sideshow this year.
this
That's
year.
not to say
Yeah,
he can't be a good NBA player in time, but this year he's a sideshow. This whole
yeah.
LeBron son thing is a sideshow.
And like you just
Um,
said, he has 4 years until he gets to the same age that the guy that they took over him is currently at. So he has 4 years to develop in the NBA to get to that age.
And to be quite frank with you, he has 4 years in the NBA to show that he's not just LeBron James' son. He's a valuable
Yeah,
player in the league.
yeah. And I think that's
And I
the
think
most.
he will be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
think
he
that's
will
the
be.
most.
Go ahead.
I think that's the most interesting thing about Bronny is that we give him hate, everybody else gives him hate, but what really makes what makes a superstar, what made his dad a superstar is the hate and the doubt. So this is a great platform for him to show, hey, I'm not just
But
LeBron James's son. I
here's
can be
the
a big,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People have to dial back the expectations though,
Oof.
because my expectations are not high for Bronny at all.
Mhm.
Some people's expectations. Now, the people who really watch hoops and guys like I would say even Stephen A and the hype guys that are in the media, Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, those guys won't put unreal expectations on Bronny because they see what he actually is.
Mhm.
But a lot of the normal guys, normal people that are just commenting and shit, those guys are going to be the ones that are like, Bronny needs to have 5, 6 championships, something wild. He's not that guy. He will be a starter for a couple years, probably playing point guard somewhere. But I would bet he's going to be more along the lines of a important role player, fringe starter throughout his career than LeBron James.
Mhm.
So that's like I can see a Rondo career path, but like
Mhm.
not passing. Like similar thing, starter, really good, played for a championship team, not a number one option, not a 1, 2, or 3 like option,
Yeah, because we
but a really
forget.
good role player.
I think we forget how rare a LeBron James is.
Yeah,
Same thing when we dive into football. We've had Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady very close together. We have
right.
had some very great guys
But
that
you
we
need a
are
Kirk
all
Cousins in the
looking.
league.
Yes, very true. But the point I'm making is we've seen a lot of guys who have been very good, and it seems that margin is closing on goats. The margin is closing from when we see goats. So I think the expectation will be high for Bronny for sure, just because that margin is closing.
And I don't
But
think it should. I really don't think it should.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I know we gave him hate, but now that he's in the league and he's going to play in the NBA, I think it is similar to my take on Brock Purdy, to where it's like, okay, we have to give him realistic expectations to the scenario that he's in. If the Lakers win the NBA championship next year, we cannot now throw that expectation
Dude.
on Bronny to keep that going just because it's the system, it's the guys around him. We have to take
Yeah.
that into account.
And I think that'll be taken into account unless he like blossoms into just something crazy. But
Should be a
what
great
this
story.
what this leads into more importantly is the reason why I don't have a problem with him going even 55. I think he could have went higher personally. Like looking at the draft now in retrospect and going back through
Mhm.
it, I was hating a bit too much. In any other draft class, Bronny in is not drafted, I don't think. But
Mhm.
in this draft, it was so bad. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is the second overall pick internationally averaged 1.4 points.
Oof.
Or
Oof.
sorry, no, I'm lying.
That's that. Yeah, that can't be right. There's no shot.
9.7.
Oh, that's still not great.
Still not great. But we'll get into it a little bit more here. So starting from the
Ju-
top,
Just real quick before you get into that, do you think that there's any validity to the rumor going around that other owners were contacted and saying, "Hey, if LeBron James Jr. does not go to the Lakers, he's going to Australia." That was a rumor that was going around
to
after the draft.
Australia.
He wasn't going into the NBA. He was going to go into
Oh,
the Euro League. There was rumors that the
yeah.
other GMs were contacted and said, "Hey, if he does not go to the Lakers, he will not be participating in the NBA this year."
Mm,
Any validity?
I don't know. Um, I find it hard to believe that he would go overseas. The money's here. Even if it's G League, the money's here.
Yeah.
Um, I would have a hard time believing that he would go for that reason, not for the
Yeah.
basketball. Because the competition would be better overseas if he went to the Euro League. But the money and ultimately his dad's gonna be like, yeah, you could go there, but also you could make
He doesn't really
quadruple.
need the money though.
I agree with you, but I have a sense that Bronny wants to make his own name.
100%.
And so you can build your own brand being in the US. You
But why
can't
go
really
to if he
EuroLeague.
wants to make his own name, why go to the Lakers with his dad?
It's not his choice.
So, okay, but so then is there actual validity to the statement that other owners were contacted that like if he does
If
not
Bronny
go
didn't
to
get drafted, he's going. If Bronny didn't get drafted, he would have gotten signed by the Lakers.
he would have gotten signed. Okay.
So I don't, it doesn't matter. Like to me, it doesn't matter what would have happened in the draft. If no one drafted him, the Lakers would have just signed him. Why would he go to Australia?
No,
Why wouldn't they
but
just
no,
sign him?
the idea here is that other people wanted to draft him and that they were told that if they did
Oh,
draft him, he would
he
not
would just dip.
participate.
He would just
He
dip.
would go
I
to the
see.
EuroLeague. That was the rumor that was
Oh.
going around for the fact that he was drafted 55th overall
Oh,
to the
I don't think
Lakers.
there's any validity in that. No.
No
I
validity.
think
Gotcha.
no, I don't think there's any validity in that. I thought, sorry, I get what you're saying now. I don't think there's any validity in that. I think while LeBron obviously wants to play with him, I think what the scenario would have been is I'm proud of my son. I'm glad that another team finds him valuable and they drafted him. I'll be there next year or mid-season. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I don't think that there's any validity to him being like, I'm not gonna play. Peace out.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, let's get into the actual draft.
Yeah. So starting from the top, this draft was just basically it was where's Alex Starr gonna go, and even that was like didn't get it. Like I was like, and no one really was making hype out of it, so I shouldn't say I didn't get it. No one got it, but we still needed to have a draft. And the number one overall pick, Zachary
Zachary?
Rashar, I guess. I'll put
Zachary
him.
Rashar.
I'll put a picture of him right here. Uh,
Zachary. Zachary Bakar.
I mean,
He
his
died
name
like
is
a
spelled
dog.
His name is spelled Zaccharie. So it could be
I said,
Zachary.
don't cry, Bakar. He started crying. I would never cry. You know what
Um,
that's from. Please tell me you know what that's from.
yeah.
Yes.
So he played with Wemby last year in France, the number one overall pick. He went one to the Hawks. His stats from the final year in France were as such: 10 points per game, 10.1 points per game, zero point 0.3 blocks, zero point 0.8 steals, zero point 0.9 assists, 3.8 total rebounds, and 1.3 turnovers.
Oh, all
Number
righty.
one overall
All
pick.
righty. All right. Hey, congrats. Congrats, buddy.
Um,
Not much to say there.
I
When you
That's how
start
bad this
going to the
draft is.
points, when you start
Yeah.
saying point before a number, you know that there's something there's a disconnect there for sure. When you start saying point 0.3, point 0.9,
It's
that's when
bad.
we have some trouble.
It's bad. And as I continue to go through this, you'll understand why I'm like, this is the best that we could put out in the NBA draft. In the second overall pick, this is Alexander Starr. He went to the Wizards. What I have written for my notes for the second overall pick is what the actual
Okay, come on, man. Let's be positive here. These guys are
he
younger than
averaged
us. We are their
9.7 points.
elders.
He averaged 9.7 points, 1.3 blocks, zero point 0.5 steals, zero point 0.9 rebounds, 4.4 total, or sorry, zero point 0.9 assists, 4.4 total rebounds, and 1.1 turnovers a game. This
So
is the
these
second overall pick. He's
just
coming out of France at 19 years of age at 7'1".
just off of the top two, it seems like their best stat is they're able to score. They're not that great at doing the
I
other
don't even,
things that are required
Not
within
even that.
basketball.
Now, do you understand why I'm like, these guys are going to be out of the league? They might not even see the floor this year.
Yeah, 100%. But there was a post about a USC guy who went undrafted who was averaging like 11. Did you see that? We don't have to
I,
talk about it
I
if you didn't see it.
I know who went undrafted. I mean, sure,
Out of
but
USC.
USC wasn't a good basketball team this year. That's where Bronny played.
Oof. Oof. I did not know that. I thought because Bronny was there, it was a good school.
It's a good school. They're a good team. To put it in perspective, bro, there was a college basketball game this year on the men's side that ended the first half in single digit scoring. Like both teams did not have 10 points.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about. This was college basketball for the men's side was so fucking bad this year. That's why, and I'm not saying this is like that's the only reason the women were so big, but that's part of the reason why the women's game was so big this year because it was actually
women were big.
exciting. They were actually exciting. They were what the men's tournament usually is, and it just goes to show if you're exciting, they'll actually play. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not the point. But that's how bad college basketball was this year. The third pick, and I think this is the best pick in the top five. Reed Shepherd coming out of Kentucky. That's my school. That's the team I root for college when I do watch. He played 1 year at Kentucky, averaged 12.5 points, 4.5 assists. But here's the big part. Here's the big thing. 53%, 53.6% from the field and shot 52% from three.
That's really good, no.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say 52% from three is really good. No, I was gonna be like, whoa,
So
whoa, whoa.
that comes with a caveat, which is that college basketball was so fucking bad this year.
Yeah, 100%.
But shooting translates.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, college basketball was really bad, but this guy can shoot all over the floor. And actually, he's the white man that's right over your shoulder right there.
No
That's it.
shot.
That's Ed Reed. Yes. Or Reed Shepard.
This man.
That's Reed Shepard. Yes. That's
No,
the
there's
third
no
overall
shot.
pick.
This is the guy you're like, this is the guy I'm hyped for. I
That's
didn't
That's
want to
Reed
do
Shepard.
this right now. Okay, I don't want to be but just take a look at these boys real quick.
He's like 12.
Take a look at these boys.
Oh, and
real
the guy
quick.
that's right over your head, that's the second overall pick. That's Alex Starr.
That guy.
Nope, over your head.
That guy.
Yep, that's Alex Starr.
All right, that guy for sure. He looks like a basketball player. Just let's take a quick look at these guys real quick. I mean, the third overall pick looks the same height as me. I'm just gonna point that out. He looks the same height as me.
He's 6'2".
I saw
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, if I was wearing the same shoes as him, I'd be 6'2" as well. But I saw a post talking about this is the first NBA draft where I feel like I could beat the crap out of most of these guys, and I kind of feel the same way. No hate.
Physically, like in a fight?
Physically in a fight.
Oh,
no
yeah.
hate, but I mean,
This is the first draft where the 19-year-olds look 19.
like, look
You know
at
what I
these
mean?
boys.
You know
Look
what I
at these
mean?
boys. I mean, like, come on now.
Because think about it. When you look at when you look at us,
Like, look at this flipping dude. You think he's gonna play against LeBron James?
well, think about it. When you look at us and then you look at the rookie class of the NFL every year, like there's no way we're the same age, right? When you look at
Yes.
these guys, you're like, they're actually 19. No, this is the first class where you're like, oh, these
No,
guys
they
are
look
actually
16.
19.
They look 16 years old.
This
That's
looks
what
like
they
high
look
school
like.
graduation.
Yes,
This looks like prom.
100%.
This looks like prom.
This literally looks like prom. 100%. I'm
point
not
is-
trying to be an asshole, but these guys, they don't look like they have what it takes.
The point is, I think Ed Reed, of the top three, which usually when you look at a draft, it's the top three that generally gets debated. Ed Reed, I keep saying Ed Reed. Reed Shepherd is going to be the best player of the top three, I think.
Reed
hands down.
Shepherd looks like he's about to start a new app in his garage. That's what he looks like. All right.
He's playing. He got drafted by the Rockets. Alex Starr and the other fella, Zach, we're just gonna say they're both
on here. Is he on here?
I don't even know what the guy looks like, if I'm being completely honest with you. I didn't know he existed. I knew who Alex Starr was, and I knew who Reed Shepherd was.
I'm gonna throw it out. This is probably Zach right here.
No, he got drafted by the Bulls. I don't know. Let me look. Let me just find the feller. Either way, the guy is. Oh, he is. Oh, squat down. He's right next to the number 2. Not the white guy, but the tan guy. Yeah, in between the two dark skinned fellows.
Oh, so this guy.
Yep. That's Zach.
That's Zach.
That's
Howdy,
Zach.
Zach. I believe I could beat you in a fight.
Yeah, I don't. I think Reed Shepherd's going to be the best of the top three. I think there's a lot of. This has a feeling to me a lot like the 2013 draft, where we're going to have a lot of guys that are in the second round that are really good, or late first round. I think the Lakers end of the first round pick, Dalton, he's going to be really great. I think Bronny will end up being a good role player in time. I think the Jazz got a couple. I don't know. I'm not even going to suck off the Jazz in this. Their draft picks were terrible. I think there's some guys that could end up being something in the second round.
You are struggling so hard right now to just like speak about this NBA draft.
I'm trying to be
I think
positive.
they could be something. They could be something. Something
I'm
could
trying to be
shit.
positive.
Something could be shit, or it could be a piece of shit lit on fire.
I'm trying to
but
be
it's
I'm
something.
trying to be positive. When I look at this draft, I just have a hard time seeing anyone being relevant.
Here, I'm the 5th pick overall. Big body boy at center.
If you were playing against all these, here's a good question. You don't think you could make a 3 in the NBA? If you were playing against all these guys, do you think you could?
If I was playing against the
If you're
front
Reed,
2 right here, the front
if
2
you're-
right
if
here,
you're
I can make
Reed,
a 3.
So you're Reed. Instead of Reed being there, you're there. You think you can make it? And you're playing in a rookie showcase.
I don't know. What's his name? Star?
Yeah, Alex
Star looks like a killer. Alex Star looks like a killer. The rest of these guys do not look like killers whatsoever. I mean, actually, this guy kind of looks like a killer too. Right over here. Right? Like him and Star look like killers, but
He looks like CJ Loki.
yeah, but like this
Or
guy,
no, he looks like Jamar.
Like this guy, this guy, this guy, and then the
They
two
all
right
look
here.
nice as hell.
They
Boy with the
they
glasses.
yeah, I mean they don't look like killers, you know. Like I don't know. I think I would
That's
get
taking. That's gonna go so
if
far.
I wasn't a if I didn't have to dribble, you know, like if they allowed me
Catch and
to,
shoot.
yeah, if they allowed me, no, if they allowed me to carry the basketball like a football when I'm moving, then yeah, I can make a three on these guys for sure. But if I had the dribble, it's all over. No
Okay,
shot.
so we're gonna cut out most of the bullshit that we just did. What I want to talk about next with this, because it's the NBA offseason, there's some exciting stuff that's happened. We talked about the Knicks trade recently. Mikal Bridges from Brooklyn to the Knicks. I think they're contenders now. I think that's a huge move. And now the rest of the NBA is pretty much, now that that piece has fallen, the rest of the NBA is basic. We're waiting to see what everyone else is doing. Um, there's been a couple big things that have happened, and then there's been small stuff that has happened, contracts that have been let go, and guys that have re-signed, picked up their player options, players that don't matter. But there's been a couple big moves that have already started outside of the Mikal Bridges. The first one that I want to talk about is DeJounte Murray from the Hawks to
My boy.
the Pelicans. Yes, and this is
That's
directly
my boy.
relevant for you because that was your boy in 2K. I did not see this trade at all. There was no warning signs. There was no alluding to it. None, like I could have never put this trade together or guessed it in a million years, but it makes great sense. What you're getting with DeJounte, pairing him alongside, damn, I spit. I did. I had that P right into the mic.
Hell yeah.
DeJounte Murray paired with CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson. If Brandon Ingram stays, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, that is a fantastic lineup. I while I love Josh Hart being in New York for the chemistry there, him in New Orleans in this scenario would have been even great as well. But either way, I think this adds a lot of stability to the front court in New Orleans. It adds a lot of versatility defensively, offensively. It adds, I think, the closer that they've been looking for. CJ can do it on some nights, but not every night. So that's interesting. I'm in the other part of that too is Brandon Ingram going to stick around? I don't know. To be determined. We shall see. But more importantly, the most important part of this entire offseason is what's going to happen with Paul George. Because Paul George declined his to opt into his last year of his contract with the Clippers earlier today, meaning that he is a full-fledged unrestricted free agent for the first time in a very long time. And he's going to be taking meetings, well, it's 1:48 in the morning now, so today technically he'll be taking meetings with the Clippers, the Sixers, and then the Magic. Maybe some other teams will sneak in. I personally think that there should be some teams that should be calling, but those are the teams that he's been open about having meetings with. I think the Sixers thing is short-lived. The Clippers will end up probably re-signing him, but I think he'll be gone before then. But I don't know. I didn't expect him from the get-go to opt out. I thought it was going to be an opt-in and trade sort of situation, but
Ring
here we
chasing?
are. Yeah, pretty much.
Ring chasing.
There's not much left. He's made a bunch of money in his career. It's mostly just let me get a chip now, but uh, I wonder if he's just going to go for the money again because that's why he opted out of his contract in the first place. So the PG move is going to be very interesting. I think the domino will fall earlier than we expect it to. And I think there's a 60% chance he just returns to the Clippers, 40% chance that he ends up in Orlando. I think the Sixers are out. For some reason, in my heart of hearts, for some reason, I feel like
So
they're
you're a
out.
liar and a fraud because you said the Sixers were opening up for the Paul George move, and then now you don't feel that way. So you're a liar and a fraud and a scammer, and nobody should listen to you.
Here's why. If the Sixers were that serious,
Mhm.
Paul George wouldn't be a free agent right now. because the Clippers would have just gave Paul George the deal. But they were willing not to give him the deal and let Paul George go into free agency and test the market because I don't think the Sixers were that serious.
So he's a smart man. He's an intelligent college graduate. That's what he is.
I think he's going to end up back on the Clippers. That if I had to put money on it, that's where I think he ends up in about 72 hours, if not earlier than that.
Money. It is the
It's what makes the world go round.
it's the sin of all men. You know,
Greed.
he wants more money to stay on the same team. Very interesting. I feel like that doesn't really happen in the NFL at all. To where somebody like they're like, yeah, I don't feel like playing here. Give me more money and I'll play here. And then they're like, hey,
Well, Paul George
100%.
wants to be in California, and the Lakers are not an option. Well, and that's the other thing. That's the last part of this. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. LeBron James, there's a story that came out, Woj Bomb, today, saying that LeBron, he did not opt into the last year of his contract. So he is technically a free agent, but most likely will just re-sign with the Lakers, obviously, because his son is there now. But he came out and said that he will wait to re-sign his deal and is willing to take less money to bring in a Paul George, to bring in a James Harden, to bring in a Klay Thompson. He will take less money so they can bring in one of those guys to add to the squad. So
Wait, are you being truthful right now?
I'm being 100% truthful.
Is that on Kizzy?
That's on God.
No. Is that on Kizzy?
That's on my bust down Rolly Avalanche.
It's on your bust down really avalanche. It's on
Yes, sir.
Kizzy. No Kizzy.
No Kizzy, no cap.
No Kizzy, no cap. You're being truthful right now.
I'm being truthful right now. There was a
All
story
right.
that I got a notification
Continue.
on ESPN for it.
All right, continue.
So quite possibly we could see one of those guys end up in LA. Could happen. LeBron's feeling generous now that his son's in the team. That's the state of the NBA currently. But I want to see this last comment here. We got 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Hit him with a fast one, Zane. Give us our comment of the week.
You should read it.
5 first-round picks for Mikal is kind of wild, though.
How do we feel about that? You were glazing this Mikal Bridges trade. I did not know that it was 5 first. 5 first is crazy to give up for Mikal Bridges.
No, here's why. And here's the 30-second version of it. In today's NBA, now with the second apron, do you know what the second apron is?
I don't, but if it takes too much time, don't say it.
Nope. So what the second apron is before, there was a hard cap for how much money you can spend on your players, okay? You could hit that cap and then you could pay a luxury tax on top of it, okay? So you could essentially go over it. There wasn't really, it was a soft cap.
A little bit like tax fraud.
Right. Now in the NBA, there's a second apron. So you hit the first cutoff, and then if you go past, there's a second one. If you go past, you can't go past this one. So you can go up, but there's a certain extent. Now with the second apron, you're not going to get deals done like the Rudy Gobert trade. What you're going to get done now is deals like Mikal Bridges. You're going to go after the really, really, really good role players, not the superstars with all these picks. The Knicks picks were going to be irrelevant after this year because you're not going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're not going to get Joel Embiid, so you might as well use them because those other teams whose picks they were are bad right now, but 3 years from now, when those picks actually matter, they'll be decent. So get rid of them now, use them for a guy that will make you contenders right now, and it's all worth it. All right, my bad. We ran out of time doing the outro, but I'm here making up for it. So again, I'm Devin. That was Zane that I was talking to, and this is Buffet Sports. If you want to be a part of the show, leave us a comment down below if your take's good enough and it makes the cut. It'll be a part of our show next week. Again, I'm Devin, and that was Zane. Or Buffet Sports. It's all you can eat. Ciao, guys.